Here is how INTJs destroy you in an argument. Number 1, they stay calm when you're losing your cool. When the temperature of the argument rises and voices crack like thunder, the INTJ remains an island of icy calm in a stormy sea. While you're caught in the whirlwind of emotions, their serene demeanor isn't just composure, it's a weapon. Their calm is disarming. It's like watching a chess grandmaster unfazed while the board erupts in chaos. Your anger, your frustration, even your desperate attempts to dominate the conversation all become fuel for their quiet strategy. They don't match your volume, they match your logic. The louder you get, the clearer their cool clarity shines. It's as if they're watching the scene unfold from a distance, untouchable, unflappable, immune to the heat of the moment. This calm is not ignorance or apathy. It's an intense focus, a deliberate choice to maintain control, even when everyone else is losing theirs. Because in the mind of an INTJ, emotion clouds truth, and truth is their only goal. So, while you're spiraling, flailing, and trying to overpower with passion, they're calmly dismantling your arguments piece by piece, one cool fact at a time. Their silence and steadiness become a mirror reflecting your own unraveling, and that reflection can be more devastating than any shouted insult. In the battlefield of debate, their calm is the cold, sharp edge that cuts deepest. If you're willing to delve even deeper into your personality type, we're excited to announce the release of our insightful books. In the first one, you can explore the nuanced dynamics of INTJ relationships and uncover strategies to foster deeper connections based on understanding and compatibility. In the second, you can gain clarity on navigating the intricate terrain of career choices with a guide tailored specifically for INTJs, offering actionable advice to leverage their unique strengths effectively, and finally choose the best career path. As a special offer for our subscribers, we have a promo code available for your purchase. Link is in the description below. Number 2, they hunt for logical flaws like a bloodhound. INTJs don't just listen, they interrogate every word you say with the precision of a detective on a cold case. Every sentence is a piece of evidence, every claim a clue. They don't just catch the obvious mistakes, they sniff out the subtle holes in your logic that you didn't even know were there. Let's say you say, everyone should just work harder if you want to succeed. An INTJ won't just nod, they'll pause and ask, how do you define harder? Are you considering systemic barriers or just personal effort? They're peeling back layers, exposing where your argument rests on shaky assumptions. Or maybe you claim, this idea will never work because it's too risky. An INTJ will calmly respond, what metrics are you using to measure risk? Can you quantify potential downsides versus benefits? They won't accept vague judgments, they want precision. It's like debating with a human lie detector. They don't let you skate by on feelings or generalities. Instead, they trap every argument in a spotlight, forcing it to reveal its strengths and weaknesses. When you say, I think it's unfair, they ask, unfair by whose standards? What evidence supports that? This relentless pursuit of logical clarity isn't personal, it's their way of finding truth and building better ideas. But for you, it can feel like a merciless dissection where every sentence you utter risks being dismantled piece by piece. They don't just argue to win, they argue to understand and improve the idea. So, if you come unprepared with vague or emotional points, be ready. The INTJ will hunt them down, expose them, and leave you scrambling to patch your argument back together. Number 3, they remember every tiny detail you forgot. INTJs are walking archives. Every conversation, every offhand comment, every contradiction you thought you buried, they store it all, filing it away like a librarian obsessed with perfect order. You might say something in passing or even in frustration, and months later they'll pull it out like a surprise dagger in the heat of the moment. You told me last year that you didn't care about X, they'll say calmly, yet now you're arguing the exact opposite. This isn't about playing gotcha, it's about precision and consistency. INTJs hate contradictions because they signal flawed reasoning. So they remember your words not to judge but to hold the conversation to a standard you set yourself. It can feel like they have photographic memory combined with a steel-trap mind. There's no escaping your past statements once you voice them. The past isn't past for an INTJ. It's a part of the evidence they use to build or dismantle your argument. So, next time you think you can slip in a contradictory point or an unvetted claim, beware. The INTJ probably already caught it, and they're waiting to bring it up at just the right moment. Number 4, they ask questions that strip you bare. When INTJs argue, they don't just throw statements around like confetti. Instead, they become quiet interrogators, wielding questions like scalpels, precise, purposeful, and designed to cut through the noise until only raw truth remains. You might make a casual claim, something you assume everyone agrees with, and they'll lean in with calm curiosity and ask, "What evidence backs that up?" Or, "Have you really thought through the implications?" These questions aren't about being confrontational. They're tactical probes that expose where your logic might be flimsy, where assumptions lurk unexamined, and where emotional biases could cloud reasoning. It's a bit like being peeled layer by layer in a silent but relentless process. Your defenses start to feel like they're unraveling, because the questions don't just skim the surface, they demand you to go deeper. Why do you believe that? How do you know this is true? What alternative perspectives have you considered? Every inquiry drills into your argument's foundation, exposing cracks you didn't realize were there. And here's the catch. INTJs do this with a calmness that's almost unsettling. No raised voice, no dramatic interruptions, just a steady, unwavering gaze, and a tone that says, "I'm not here to fight you, I'm here to understand what you really mean." This process can leave you feeling naked in front of a firing squad of logic, stripped of emotional armor, and wondering if you ever truly believed what you said. But for the INTJ, this is where clarity lives. Their questions aren't designed to humiliate or dominate. They're the tools of a mind obsessed with truth and precision. So, if you find yourself stumbling under their questions, don't mistake it for weakness. It's just the INTJ's way of demanding that your ideas earn their place, through scrutiny, honesty, and unflinching self-examination. Number 5, they don't get distracted by drama. In the heat of an argument, emotions often flare like wildfire. Shouts, accusations, and pleas swirl around like a chaotic storm. But the INTJ, they are the eye of that storm, unmoved and unshaken. While others get tangled in personal attacks or dramatic tangents, the INTJ stays laser-focused on the core issue. They don't waste time on theatrics or getting caught up in emotional chaos. If you try to bait them with insults or derail the conversation with drama, it simply bounces off like water on steel. This isn't coldness or indifference, it's strategic discipline. The INTJ knows that emotions can cloud judgment and distract from the real goal, uncovering truth and finding solutions. So, while others are busy playing emotional chess, the INTJ is quietly making the moves that matter. This unwavering focus can be frustrating for those expecting a fiery clash. Instead, they get a cool, calculating mind that cuts through the noise and forces the conversation back to where it belongs. So, if you thought you could rattle them with drama, think again. INTJs see through the smoke and mirrors, and they're too busy steering the conversation toward the truth to be distracted by anything else. Number 6, they use facts as their ammunition. When an argument heats up, most people might rely on passion, opinions, or vague generalizations to make their case. But INTJs, they come prepared with something sharper and heavier: facts, data, and cold hard evidence. To them, facts aren't just information, they're the ultimate weapons and the strongest shields. Picture this. You say, "This policy is going to destroy the economy." An INTJ won't just roll their eyes or respond with emotion. Instead, they might calmly counter. Actually, according to the Department of Labor's latest report, similar policies led to a 3% GDP growth last quarter. Suddenly, your emotional assertion feels like a whisper against a rock. Or maybe you argue, climate change is just a natural cycle. The INTJ will pull up credible scientific studies, data trends, and expert consensus. While natural cycles exist, data from NASA shows a 1.2 degrees Celsius rise in global temperatures since pre-industrial times, correlating strongly with the increased CO2 emissions. Facts drop like hammers, shattering unsupported claims. Even in personal debates, INTJs lean on facts. If you say, "You never listen to me," they might counter with. "Actually, in our last 5 conversations, I summarized your points and asked clarifying questions each time. Can you point out when I didn't?" What's key here is the precision and strategy behind their use of facts. They don't bombard you with irrelevant statistics. They select evidence that directly targets the weak spot in your argument. It's like watching a master marksman pick off every flawed assumption one by one. For the INTJ, facts are more than just winning tools. They're a way to keep the conversation honest and grounded. Emotional arguments or gut feelings might sway others, but for them, truth lives in verifiable evidence. So, next time you argue with an INTJ, remember, passion isn't enough. If you want to stand a chance, bring your data, your research, your receipts, because they sure will. These videos will be really helpful for you.